It's nighttime, the Crescent Space Center. Let's bring it back to morning. All right, now we can get to work. What are we up to tonight? Oh, hey, Ray. We have all these surveys we can try to do, but I'm also going to grab this one. Explore the Mun, which I swore we had a different moon contract earlier. Right now, our Mun contract is simply to fly by it, which isn't that awful. So let's grab that. We'll get 64,000. 7 reputation, I think, is the main takeaway. I forgot to see what the fuck reputation does. I want to say reputation affects. Hey, Justin. I want to say reputation affects the quality of contracts we'll get. Career. Currencies. Reputation is earned through successful contracts. The better your reputation, the better and more rewarding the contracts you'll be offered. Okay. Okay. So, I mean, I would like to go to the moon, but also we can just do like a north-south orbit, try to grab some atmospheric surveys. It's a lander canway. It's not very aerodynamic is the problem. We have a nose cone. What is this? Oh. Your vessel can't be made out of a basic fin, because every other part derives from the first part. We do have a Mark II. I mean, we have a Probodobodyne Steputnik. We could make a satellite, which would be very crushing of us. I'll tell you a little story. Back when I did play the game, it's like every few months when there is an update, my friend and I would play, and I would be the Crushins, and he would be the KSA, and we try to get as far as we could. And I was much better at docking and manned landings, but he was much better than me at satellites and getting to other planets. So it was interesting to see how our two careers played out. Because like he could always get like a rover onto Mars, or he could like land a guy on the moon but couldn't get him back, and like I could land guys on the moon and bring them back, but I could never get to Mars. Alright, now this thing's tiny though. But not to worry. Give it a small inline reaction wheel. That'll give it some turning power. I'm not sure if it'll be as much as the command pod. What do we got here? It gives us 5 torque for pitch yaw roll. This gives us 15, but it's big. What's the command pod have? Command pod has... So this is just as powerful as the Mark I command pod at not a fraction of the value. It's actually a little bit more expensive. Is it lighter? You weigh almost a ton. You weigh... Holy shit, you're just... This thing's just hollow. So I mean, that'll help with the weight. If we can get this thing into space... You know, I'm not sure if your weight has a big impact on your thrust potential when you're in space. Your ISP, or thrust-to-weight ratio? Speaking of thrust-to-weight ratio, one of the things we have to worry about... utility should be a solar panel. Didn't I buy solar panels? Thought I did. We can't. We need a solar panel for satellite. God damn it. It's just 2 parts. Don't save. I swore, am I making another Wobblemobile? Hopefully not. I swore I bought solar panels. I didn't buy solar panels because I'm a professional retard on TV for money. Oh boy. So I guess we're going to do a moon flyby with the moon experiments. That'll give us enough for the solar panels. Change of plans. Get the fuck out of here. Mark II command pod. Weighs almost twice as much, but it holds that scientist, and I want to take a scientist to the moon. I mean, really. That's the Terrier. Actually, hang on. The Terrier, its vacuum thrust is 60. This is 120. What's its fuel consumption, though? This drains 3 per second. This drains 1.5. This is what we want to use in a vacuum. The thud's okay, because I was thinking something like this. I'll show you what I was thinking. I was thinking something like this. Right? Use this to get to the moon flyby, but I think that's going to be too fuel inefficient compared to the Terrier. I mean, I could give them thrust limiters, liquid fuel engine. Its engine ISP is 305 in a vacuum. Nope, this is a higher engine ISP. If we look at the details there on the right side, see? So this, it's more powerful. Like, it'll generate more thrust, but the Terrier is much more fuel efficient, which is what we want when we're in space. Fuck, that thing's tiny. And we can't put a Science Junior in a cargo bay, can we? No. No. I mean, we could go there without a Science Junior. Not the smartest idea, because we're going to get a bunch of free science if we go there with a Science Junior. I mean, if I'm just bringing people to level them up, I could bring a crew cabin. The hell are you? Command and control? No. The hell are you? I just saw you. Utility. Okay. Yes. So one guy's driving it, and then two people are chilling out in the crew cabin. We can just give XP to those two. And then, ooh, I think I'm gonna do a test flight with this, just to see if it actually lands without exploding. It should. It should, because the crew cabin has a high impact tolerance. But we might fall so fast that it actually shreds the parachute. So we'll probably do a quick little deorbit attempt. We won't need any batteries or anything because we're not changing our orbit in the moon. We're just going to do a flyby and get thrown back to Kerbal. Just give him a little heat shield to be safe. Hopefully that thing falls down properly. Alright, and then we're just making a regular rocket. It's gonna need some fuel is the problem. Like, honestly, this might be overkill, but I'm gonna go with this. It's nice. Okay, and then we grab this. And then is the delta V calculation the men? We don't have any engines on it yet, I guess, right? Oh, here we go. 2697 meters per second if we're in the moon. So it's going to be similar to the wobbler. Give it a swivel. I mean, technically we'll get more thrust with a Reliant, but then we're going to lose a lot of our thrust control at launch, which might be a terrible idea. So here's what we'll try. So I need my center of mass displayed, okay. I feel the thumpers might be too much. But maybe not, right? Alright, the hammers give us... oh, not nearly enough. 889 of... that's weird. 889... oh, sorry, we're on Kerbal, that's why. That's why they're being weird. Sea level. That's not enough to get in orbit, no. Let's go with the thumpers. Whoops, snapped on wrong. It's a mistake I've made several times. Still doing it wrong. There. Come on, don't be a dick. You're being a bit of a dick. A little late, not too late. We're like 10 minutes in. Trying to make a new ship here. Another important calculation we want to call up here. We want to make sure thrust to weight ratio is around 1.5, I was reading. Or we'll start wasting too much fuel against drag. Let's go a little aerodynamic here, right? Now, how the hell do I calculate my thrust to weight in the base game? Is it even available? There's my thrust to weight right there. Oh, there we go. Alright, our thrust to weight ratio in this first stage is 2.34. That's way too much. That's way too much. Alright. Do something like this. Alright, now our thrust to weight is 1.47, which I'd like it to be a little bit longer. Or sorry, a little bit higher. So let's pump this up to 70. Okay, now our thrust to weight ratio is 1.65. That's good. Not sure on our delta V calculation here. So at sea level we have 1350 delta V by the time both these engines burn out. And then I'm not sure why this stage has its own delta V. Like, it's still accommodating for this engine because it's still burning. Because this guy generates no delta V, so it's not the decoupler generating delta V. So this guy generates no delta V, and then when we're just on this one, your thrust to weight ratio is garbage, but for this one, we'll be in space. So let's switch our calculation over to vacuum. Got a huge delta V, which I really hope 2600 is enough to get to the moon. I might be mistaken here. What about altitude? Okay, so sea level we do go 1350. Altitude will go like 10,000. So we only have 7. This is almost enough to get us into space. This should get us into space, and then we'll switch over to this to circularize. The trick, I think, to get to the moon will be to get a very elliptical orbit, because then we can make those very cheap adjustments at a high orbit. And then we have to hope that, by the way, we have to hope these things don't fucking explode when we jettison them, which is a frequent problem we have with our ships. Alright, we'll call this one the Honeymooner Mark 1, as in biff boom, straight to the moon. Honeymooner Mark 1. Needs a little bit of science, but see right here, I'm digging this center of mass, center of thrust though. It's not right at the bottom. I think that's okay though. I forget, you know, let's see if the wiki, the in-game wiki thing tells us what to do with our center of thrust. Rocketry. Advanced? Fairings? No. Okay, basics. Stability. Here we go. Center of thrust versus center of mass. Keeping your thrust centered will also help to keep things going where you want. Build your rocket keeping the center of thrust pushing through the center of mass. Alright, so yeah, these are bad. I want to say that maybe our center of thrust wants to be coming out of the engine. I might be mistaken though. Forces, here we go. Yeah, thrust is up, drag is pulling us back down, and then weight is our big fat rocket. My big fat Greek rocket. I think it's a little off center. Thrust is kind of there near the bottom. Sea level. My staging's all fucked up again. So we fire these. Then we jettison these guys. Then we jettison this guy and turn this one on. And then this is for coming back. Okay, I'm sure I've made some sort of critical error here, which I'm not realizing, but let's slap some science on this kid. You know what? It's so much science, we're doing it. Because the Science Junior, we decided to ditch it when we were going with the larger command pod. Very concerned about our center of mass now. Yeah, it's a little off. We'll see how much of a disaster that is. We have more control with this, because that was the problem with the Wobbler. Had no control wheel. Okay. Thermometer. Barometer, they're right by the door. Whoops, we don't need symmetrical thermometers. No, we don't. Just one thermometer will do. Right by the door. Single barometer right by the door. Mystery goo can go above the flag. Not the most aerodynamic with the goo, unfortunately. And because we'll be doing some space shit, I kind of want to give us some RCS and some fuel. That would be on the in outer space stage. So this. Whoa! Oh shit! You're bolted on, dopey. All right. So your center of mass is here. Not the most elegant thing. But we might just get into space with this. This looks centered-ish. Really dopey looking ship again. I need those things. The clamps for the landing pad, or this thing's gonna start tipping over, I'm sure. Alright, battery we don't need. It's a very long drift to the moon, but we can just turn the engine on very briefly and that'll generate power. Radiator we don't need to care about, I think. We do need some fins and shit though, so we can steer this pig. And then we'll give this guy 4. Want to make sure they're not in the burn, which that will impact the overheat, so let's try to avoid that. Those SRBs might cause problems. I'd believe it. I'd believe it, Ray. I don't have a brand adapter. Oh, I do have a brand adapter, actually. So in order to make this thing a little less chubby, we can do this. So how much fuel is this? $360 liquid. Well, this isn't bigger. This isn't helpful at all. What? This holds 180. This holds... Huh. No, it's a little bit tinier. We might actually not gain any space with this, but we'll see. I think the brand adapter is too big. Oh yeah, it's pretty fucking big. This guy. Oh! There's your problem. Oh, look at that. That holds some fuel. Made it a little bit tinier, but now our SRBs are a weird shape again. So we're top heavy once more, which I don't like. But I think I unlocked struts, didn't I? Or did I forgo struts? Oh, there we go. There's struts. So we can use these to address the wobble. Hopefully. I'm skeptical. I don't have a lot of faith in those struts, but that might help with the structural integrity. The structural integrity, if you will. So we've got a lot of control surfaces. We actually have a pilot with access to a control wheel. We stouted out our fuel source a little bit. How much fuel do we have here? In this stage, we have access to 791 meters per second, which with the struts, I want to add a little more fuel. Because if we're going all the way to the moon, we don't want any mistakes. That wasn't that much more delta V, unfortunately, except if we're lucky, I'm currently calculating it in sea level. That is a humorously large amount of delta V when we're in space. So I don't think we need that much. Honestly, we might be able to get away with that much, which will make it easier to get up into space. Still 2,800. That's a lot of delta V, assuming we don't waste it all circularizing. All right, our center of mass is really low still, so hopefully we have good control over this. Made a little bit shorter though, considerably shorter, I think. All right, save. Let's get up there. Who's in this thing, sorry? All right, I want my pilot. I want you, and then as much as I'd like to level up Valentina, this isn't a sexism thing, I need an engineer as well. He won't break anything that needs fixing, but that'll give him some XP. Ah, poor Valentina. We'll start to bring her up with some like co-pilot stuff to level her up too, because eventually we might find ourselves in a situation where we already have a mission out. We have to send up another mission, so that's why we'll want Valentina leveled up. Alright, save launch. If this goes bad, it's going to go bad right away. Because I'm also going to be experimenting with... Let's go back. Actually, I forgot to check our thrust to weight. We're going to try to tilt over a little more aggressively. Not too much more, but we pretty much weren't tilting at all. Yeah, what's my delta V here? Or sorry, my thrust. Thrust is 1.79. Love it. That means we can bring it down. .55. Oh, 1.42. Don't do that. We'll go 65% on the limiter. Cockeyed on the launch pad again? I'd believe it. I'd believe it, Justin. All right, and then you're at thrust 70, which is 65, I think, is what they made us do in the tutorial. So I think, what was it? Turn it once with E. And that should face us east. All right, good thrust to weight. We lose some of our thrust to weight, but we'll hopefully already be pretty high by then. And then once we're in space, the thrust to weight's dog shit, but we'll actually be in a vacuum, which our thrust to weight... I think our thrust to weight's pointless in a vacuum because we're weightless. I mean, you can be cockeyed on the launch pad, you just have to turn in the right direction. Whereas, like, if you always position your ship properly, you always know to tilt to the right. Alright. What the fuck happened to my thrust to weight's 146? Oh shit, did I edit those separately to be 70? 70. Alright, 1.54, this might not work. Let's go to the moon. Let's see. We might go all the way there. This is going to be the sad part. Is we might go all the way there, and this thing's going to be too fucking heavy to land. Well, we can try. These guys might all die, and we'll have to start over with Valentina. Alright. Throttle up. How you guys doing in there? How's it looking here? Oh, it's cozy. Got a little table just chilling out, huh? Okay. Alright, make sure the staging's right. Things you want to do when you're on the launch pad, right? Not on the vehicle assembly. Alright, fire both. Jettison. That's backwards. There we go. Okay. Kinda looks right. Launch. We're going very slow, but there should be minimal drag for more fuel efficiency. We're going to start to tilt at 100. That's the wrong way. Or is it? We're starting to have some wobble here. Yeah, we're tilting the wrong way. It's fine. It's fine. Follow the prograde now. We'll just see where this takes us. This is going to be a lopsided orbit for sure. But we just got to do a flyby. Get ready to jettison these. Hopefully they don't explode on us. Perfect. Look at that. It's going to hit 70 really early. Seems to be a good ship. Get that up to 80 and then we'll start going sideways. Okay, turn this off. We got to be a little careful. Now 45, the air's starting to thin out. We're not going to lose too much to drag here if we do this. We're going to lose a bit of fuel here, but we have so much left. Then we just start to flatten this kid out. That's going to be an ugly one. Alright, let's start to go back to prograde, get some extra efficiency here. It's a nice polar orbit. You know, you're right, we can actually grab these. Good eye. And you know what? I'm just going to burn off all this fuel because now that we're in the vacuum, the Terrier's, it's his time to shine. You're entering sector MC3D. Let's grab it while we're here. Where's the goddamn thermometer? We're going to shed a lot of weight. This is fine. We want a really nice one. Probably like 300,000, honestly. All right, get ready to jettison. Got a very nice apoapse here. Well, let's make sure this thing doesn't fucking burn up. Did that count at least? Yep, we got the M3 3CD. That sucks because we had such a beautiful orbit. I can't revert flight. Yeah, we have to start all over. Are we stranded? We're not stranded because we didn't circularize. So we'll just drift down at this like huge angle, unfortunately. But the heat shield should protect us. And this is fine because if the heat shield doesn't protect us, that's a flaw with the ship we need to fix before we go to the moon. We did detach the Terrier. I had the wrong... I think we actually lost a decoupler somewhere in the staging. All right. Get us right, Jeb. Here we go. There's some science in there I should probably try to retrieve. Not at 55,000 feet, though. I'm slightly concerned, actually, because this is a very weak segment, as this might break. It's already catching on fire. The heat shield might not be protecting it because we're too tall. Oh, yeah, so this is going to explode, and these guys are going to fly off on an adventure. So, some serious flaws with the... There we go. Later, guys. So, first half, really like the first half of this mission. Second half, not so much, if I'm going to be honest with you. The ablative armor on this held, which is nice. They're dead, though. Off they go. I think I can actually control their ship from here. I can't. I think I can, but I don't know how. Alright, so yeah. The Science Junior fucking exploded. So the Science Junior can't be on the part that comes back. We have to grab all the data and then just let that burn up in the atmosphere. So let's see where we went wrong here. Yeah, there's no decoupler. It's just fuel right next to an engine. Alright, structural flaw solved. Other than that, though, I mean, we got up there with a whole fuel tank. Put the heat shield in the bottom of the crew cabin, which I didn't do, did I? Oh, no, wait, it's there. Isn't it? Yeah, it's there. Science Junior can go there. We don't need the goo to come with us because that'll just fucking explode too. We can honestly just put the whole science. Actually, what does this cost? These will probably survive. So we'll get a little extra money back. That's 800. Yeah, this is like 1,500 Kerbals if we manage to bring it back. But you know, just for aesthetics, we'll make it a whole science suite. The terrier was there, we just decoupled it early was the problem. So let's double check our staging here first. Okay, first we fire this, and then unfortunately these decouple. What the hell? Okay, this is the wrong one. Alright. Fire main engines. They've maintained their thrust limiters. And then we decouple the boosters once they're drained. And then we decouple the bottom stage, fire the Terrier. And then we cut the crew cabin and float down back to Kerbal. Alright, we'll call this the Honeymooner Mark II. And the description will be, whoops, because we killed everybody last time. Well, we just killed the two. We just killed the other two. Jebediah survived. He's the Highlander of Kerbal Space Program. Yeah, I mean, other than that catastrophic engineering failure, it went pretty well. Shitload of fuel. Honestly, if we put an even another fuel tank on this, we might be able to circularize around the moon. I don't trust that thing to land on the moon. It's got no legs. It's a little long. Polar orbit again. We'll just try to launch in general and see where fortune takes us. But I would love to be polar. Remember, 100 meters will start to tip. We're already starting to tip, actually. Turn on SAS for some stability assist. We'll just follow prograde for a bit here. We won't try to control the turn. It's a sturdy little ship, but I think our center of mass is off too much for a good gravity turn. That's where we tilt over. We're just now starting to get some drag. Let the prograde assist tip us over a little bit more. That's good. Alright, don't blow me up. They might. Thank God. We're going fast enough, I think, is the important thing. What is our app-waps? Look at that. That's actually god-awful. That's very tight. We can probably just go pure prograde here. Atmosphere's thinning out. We won't flip. And it's polar-ish. We might be able to tilt it, honestly, with how much fuel that Terrier's going to have in it. Let's go back to surface here. I want to be right here. There we go. Don't want to burn anything until we're in the vacuum. Maximum efficiency. Except I don't care about this. This is closer to an equatorial orbit, actually. We'll just go to the moon here. We won't try to grab these readings. Hey, are these guys not in here? Shit. I think I forgot to put the scientist in because we were back in the vehicle bay. Well, fuck. It's always something, right? That's a bad orbit. We'll revert it. Revert to vehicle assembly. Yeah, they weren't in it. That's just free XP. That's a lot of XP, actually, if we can get those guys to the moon. So, save. And we want to try to tilt east. Mistakes are part of the learning process. Throttle. Start to tilt on my own here at 100. Very wobbly turn, unfortunately. The SAS keeps auto-correcting. Maybe too much torque. Then we'll go prograde again at... Well, now we've got the drag. Let's go prograde. Careful. This one might be polar. Not too concerned about that part of it. Really just want to get to the moon here. Nice and high again. Lots of fuel left. She's looking polar. We might just pull this off. $102 apoaps, which will be a very long burn, unfortunately. Spinning a little weird, but we can correct that. Vacuums in 70, there we go. It's flying off. Let me do a very greedy correction here. No, not that way, not that way, not that way. This way. Kinda this way. It's gonna be a fucking expensive one again. Well, I don't have RCS thrusters on this version, right? I mean, it's kind of polar, but it might be expensive to shift it that much. It's taking a lot of fucking fuel again. I'm gonna make a maneuver node here. I have to burn for 2 minutes. That's not possible. We might not be strong enough, which is weird. I think I shouldn't go for a polar orbit. We might be wasting a bunch of shit here. Yeah, this is wrong. We should not be having this much trouble with this ship. Let's go back. Make sure everybody's still in the crew cabin. All right, they are. I don't have any RCS on is the problem. Like there's no thrusters on this ship. Oh boy, shouldn't have done that. But I'm gonna try to write it very brute force. And then once we blow the boosters, we'll follow prograde up again. We're much closer to an equatorial orbit this time. I think we want to launch from one of their bases if we want to go polar. Okay. Maybe it's some science shit. You're not supposed to go for a polar orbit from launch. The way the world spins or something. Looks a lot more forgiving now. Still a fucking weird super long burn. It says this is a 2-minute burn. What am I doing wrong here? You're at max thrust. I should be able to circularize this thing with a fucking Terrier. What is going on? Maybe I can't circularize it with the Terrier. Maybe I want to circularize it with the swivel. I'm entering area AFBF's HC. Pressure readings? I left it. That was a pressure reading though. Quick save it there. I'll be a little bit closer to the app waps when I burn now. Da-da-da. There's a bit of fuel left. I think we can get to the moon with this. An expert player could get to the moon with this, but we'll see if I can. Alright, there we go. Now that the periapse is there, it should be a lot cheaper to change our orbit. The Oberth effect, I think, is what that is, or when we're at a high orbit is the Oberth effect. Okay. And I think it's the cheapest to make the adjustments at the smaller node. But we are in space, so if you guys, specifically Mr. Scientist, automatic EVA disabled, activate a hatch. Oh shit. Oh boy. There's no hatch on this thing. So the scientist can't reset everything for us, which is just this. Yeah, fuck that. We'll do all our science on the moon. The pilot can go grab it. That sucks. I didn't account for that. No hatch. Okay, we're getting to the real Kerbal shit now, though. Let's warp over. I probably should have done the moon tutorial, because I'm incredibly hazy on, like, transfer windows and shit. There's the moon right there, though. I want you at like 300, 400,000. There we go. Nice fucking giant eccentric orbit. You can make it even more eccentric than that, though. I mean, we can pretty much make it eccentric all the way until the moon comes by. All right, bring me around. We'll have a much easier time with maneuver nodes, because once Jebediah levels up again, I think he'll be able to SAS onto our target. Alright, so now it should be really cheap. Warp over, do it again. We just got to make it a point to not quick save when we're at the moon, because if I fuck up the return trajectory, we'll explode. We'll come in way too fast. Try to get it to 600,000. Now let's go for 700. Yeah, this thing's taking off super fast. Let's just go for 1 million. Look at that. Hey, can you grab me a crew report while we're like way out here? In space, high over Kerbin. Apparently not. Do a spacewalk. This is the furthest a Kerbal's ever been. Alright, apparently I've done something similar. Now, he would die if we did this. So don't do that. I think I maybe dicked around too much with the orbits. Not a lot of fuel left to find the moon. There it is. So we'll add a maneuver, and then we just want to fatten it up until the moon catches us. And then we'll fly by, just enough for it to count, I think. Fuck off, that's not what I'm trying to do. Fine, delete the damn node. We've only been up here for an hour, but our orbit's getting very large. Oh, did you see it? Our estimated trajectory is the moon will grab us, but then we'll break free again. We have to be careful, though, because if we hit the moon the wrong way, we'll just fly back into a really weird orbit that might be hard to kill. This is a 34-second burn, actually. We might not be able to do it. We would briefly be in the moon's sphere, though. Let's try it. I don't have an abundance of faith in this. I was hoping for a much less fuel being burned. Not even sure if we have 34 seconds. We might be stranded in space with this. I might even be better off making my orbit even larger. So we want to burn at T minus 15 seconds. I think we'll have enough fuel to get to the moon. We might not have enough fuel to return to Kerbal. Oh boy, I'm starting to get worried now. I'm starting to get real worried. And I don't think we did it. I think the moon won't grab us here. Because he wasn't locked onto the target. Shit. It's a very small window I'm shooting for here. This was not the best idea. Okay. The moon will grab us. I'm not quick saving here, though, because things are going to get complicated real quick. I want you to warp to here. It's 1 day from now. We're going on quite the adventure. And then, I'm not completely sure. I guess our... Once it says we're in the orbit of the moon is when... well, I guess we'll also get this. Explore the moon. This will qualify. Fly a vessel anywhere nearby the moon. Oh, Jesus. This is... We were drifting through space for quite a while. You know, actually, now that I think about it, I think the more efficient injection would have been if we were caught on the other side. Like we drifted into it and then got sucked into it and then slingshot back out. It's too late. Of course, this is still fucking an hour away. I just got to get all our moon experiments before we fly away. Okay, we got the flyby. We got the flyby. Okay, quick. Science time, boys. The goo seems to be less dense here. Instrument reads 0. Okay. Perfect, 50. Get the fuck out. EVA report, I'm over the moon. This is crazy. Collect it quickly. We're not careful, we might gain too much velocity and get pulled away from the ship. Okay, we're fine. Now we just got to get back home without exploding. Grab on. Hop in. I also hope we have enough fuel because we're not really equipped to do a rescue mission of this quality. I think it would be hard pressed to rescue someone trapped in orbit of Kerbal. Okay. We're about to get pulled out. Our orbit is so large, though, we should be able to kill this one. Yeah. Look at how eccentric this is. This is actually going to be very easy to kill it, so it's just going to be a matter of if we come in too hot. Because I think the heat shield would protect the command pod. I'm not sure if it would protect the crew cabin as well. So these guys are going to be here for a little bit longer because we have to drift all the way over here. I'm pretty sure this is fatal. I'm pretty sure this is way too steep of a re-entry. So what we want to do is we want to bring this down to like 65 kilometers so we won't fall in on our first pass. These poor guys have been trapped in space for 5 days. All right, please follow your retrograde. Just 69 is what we need to get to. Let's put on the super stressful view here. We have 30 units of fuel. Unfortunately, we never did test what happens if we land this thing. Almost. Perfect. Actually, we will quick save here because I think we can salvage this part of it. We have enough fuel. All right. And we're going to fly by it so fast, it's going to barely kill our velocity. Holy shit, I hope these guys brought enough diapers. They're going to be up here for like 2 weeks. Okay. We're coming in. Just a little bit of a, what is this, aero braking? I think we have to be much lower in the atmosphere for it to actually be aero braking. We're kind of just skipping along the edge. So this should be dragging our apoaps down ever so slightly. Yep. Ever so slightly. It'll take several passes, I think, to kill us. Kill our momentum. Hopefully we don't die at all. After this, are we going for a moon landing? No, I think we need to set up a satellite network. Holy shit, this is going to take forever, but I think we can save them with the very little fuel we have doing it this way. Am I back in space? I'm back in space. And then we just, yeah, it's a 3-day orbit they're stuck in. This is actually a little silly. Can I just point the ship at the planet? It's super expensive to do it here, which is what I just did, even though I shouldn't have. And if we did a burn at our apoaps, the angle might be so sharp we'd burn up on re-entry. So we're trying to shallow out our approach angle. But we can definitely get home your way. They would probably just burn to death is the only problem. So I want to fly back over this and hopefully grab a temperature reading before we do another pass. These poor fucking guys, they're going to be stuck up there for weeks. Whoa. Huh. My periaps shift? Where's the thing? I think my periaps is... My orbit's slowly shifting. I might have got tugged a little bit by the moon. I don't think that's true, though. All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to make this a much more aggressive aero brake. Up here. I'm going to lower it to like 40 or 30,000, which might be too much, actually. Let's lower it to just 50, because I think once we go under 40, we might burn up. We actually can't time warp here because we're too low in the atmosphere, but once we go back up to 70K, we can go up to a full speed warp. Look at that. We went from like a multi-day orbit to now our orbit's like 1 hour. It's weird. It's not letting me warp very fast at all. We're at 100,000. We'll do a much more aggressive aero brake here. So, I mean, definitely not the cleanest way in, but we did make it. I forgot to do the moon tutorial. The tutorial should help us learn how to do transfer windows. I think the moon tutorial specifically does like an Apollo style lander, so there'll be some docking as well. Don't forget to close up the science pod. I can't close up the science pod, but we're also purposely not bringing it. See, the decoupler's right above it. So we pulled all the science out on our spacewalk, so we just have to bring this part back in one piece. This is really awkward because we're too close to speed up our warp, but the apoaps is all the way out there. There we go. All right. It's going to take almost no fuel to bring it down. But because the Tyria is so weak, we're not going to be able to really do a burn to slow us down once we're in there. Okay. Bring us retrograde and bring us down for that aero break. Oh, there we go. It's probably easier to check here than to try and mouse over that icon. We're at 60. We'll bring it down to 50. That'll leave us just a little bit of fuel in case that's going to take forever to aero brake this too. I think under 50 will really slow down as we skip across the atmosphere. Hopefully we don't burn up. That's good. Then we just want altitude like 70,000. Whoa. Here we go. Yeah, we just want to keep ourselves prograde as we skip across. Or sorry, retrograde. Okay, we are starting to burn up. That's bad because we're going with the fucking speed of light right now. That should be really killing our apoaps, though. Not really, so hopefully we don't take any heat damage as we skim over here. This could be bad. Oh yeah, that's bad. Burn the last of it off and just decouple. I don't think this thing can hold it. Oh no. I think we'll have to do another orbit. So hopefully the heat shield has enough left over after this pass. It should. It's burning off, but it's not burning off all that fast. Like if this burns off half of it before we actually start to come in on our final descent, I'll be worried. Oh, 11 days, these poor guys. The crew hatch is under the heat shield. Son of a bitch. We're starting to lose the heat. But I think that's just because we're going too high. So it looks like above 55 or so you won't burn. Unfortunately, we got to do that all over again. It only takes an hour to go around each time, though, so this is the quickest. I mean, compared to everything else they've been through, this is the quick part. I guess we can also just check the resources here. The ablator's at 177, so as long as we don't do too many more passes. This is a really poorly executed aero brake. Can I read this while we keep going? Yep, we're still going. Parachutes. Anything about aero braking? What's up with stages? Space travel. Orbital maneuvers. I probably should have read these. Hoffman transfers. Yeah, the transfer back. I probably should have read this part specifically. To lower your orbit, burn retrograde. Well, yeah, no shit. For an elliptical orbit, the best place for step 1 is the apoaps. Okay, maneuver efficiency. Here we go. So yeah, this is the most efficient time to make a maneuver. The delta V required to lower this orbit's periapsis to 50 kilometers at the 3 points is shown below. So yeah, it's dirt cheap with the apoaps. Changing inclination is most efficient where your orbit crosses the equator. Matching planes is a key maneuver, which will come up later. I was good at docking, so hopefully I can pick that back up quickly. Whoa. All right, we got to point the heat shield at it again for another pass. Oh boy. I wonder if I can just skip across at high speed or it'll burn off. Won't calculate properly. How you guys doing? That's the planet side and that's the space side. You get the best of both worlds over here. It's a little spicy, but oh man, we barely lose any speed when we do this. I really flubbed up. I was honestly expecting for like 1 or 2 aero brakes to land us, but it's going to be several. Everyone on Kerbin's probably watching this on the news, worried for our astronaut friends. What did they eat up there? The answer is their own shit. Infinite energy. I guess this gives us a lot of time for contracts to appear back at the Space Center. Point it up against it again. All right, the ablator's at 150 now. I'm starting to get a little concerned that heat shield's not going to have enough left. Our periaps does go down a little bit each time. But so's that heat shield. Our apoaps dropped by like 300,000 that time, so a couple more passes might do it. Or even lower than that. Because we're under 70, we're still getting pulled in. Whoa. It's a shame our engine burned off because this would be a great time to do a little burn. Now it only takes 23 minutes to orbit, so this 11th day is just very stressful for them. Keep doing loops. I wonder how much heat protection the crew cabin has, because the command pod has a little bit, so he should survive no matter what, but that crew cabin might cook off. Am I still? Yep, we're still under 70. The 12th day. Like Justin said, they're not even 2 weeks. Let's look at his perspective, actually. Which, you got food in this thing? Food, not food, that's air. Laundry, toothbrushes. Oh yeah, fucking a toothbrush. They expected him to be up here for a while. Get ready for another skip, though. The heat shield just went under 100. Nah, we don't even have the tools to do the sector observation. AppWaps is still really high. I don't know if we can take many more passes. Thank God we brought that heat shield, though, right? We would have fucking cooked off a day ago. All right, our AppWaps is gonna go under 100,000 here, so this next pass should be the one that brings us down. Oh yeah, look at that. AppWaps is under 70. Gravity's got us now. This is our last pass, so the heat shield should have enough juice in it. We're going down somewhere over there. The dark side, unfortunately, but there they go. You know what? We're coming in so fast, we might actually land in the sunlight. Only 55 left on that, but we're coming down at a decent speed. Actually, I wonder if we come down too fast. Maybe we come in so fast the parachute won't save us. I think we got to get under like 1500 for the heat to fuck off. I think the heat shield will hold. I'm still concerned about our actual velocity. I think we're going to pull it off, though. Oh yeah, she's starting to inch back towards the sun. Rescue crew will have some breakfast waiting for us. Just been drinking Tang and freeze-dried ice cream for 12 days. Oh, it sounds the same for you, huh? I'm starting to regret never testing this crew cabin. Let's, because we're going into a mountainous region, let's switch it away from sea level here. I think 1500 is when the fire goes away. Christ, I think we pretty much went around the entire world on fire, so everyone knows we're here. No, apparently we're still going too fast. We're on fire still. How's it going, Wags? I'll let you know in a few minutes when we make landfall here. All right, okay. Wind resistance is gone. Speed's way down. We just have to hope that this thing can withstand the impact tolerance. It might be so heavy it shears off the parachute, and that would fucking suck because I'm going to let these two guys die. I want this moon research. Pull the chute at 5,000. You know what? Pull the chute at 10,000. We got to slow ourselves down. But if it's too heavy, well, if it's too heavy, it'll shear off at 5,000. We gotta slow right the fuck down here. Got some drag. What is your impact tolerance? I wish I knew. I wish I could check from this screen. I kind of want to jettison the heat shield, but I think the heat shield has better impact tolerance than the crew cabin, if anything. Alright, this thing is going to deploy in a second. We're going to find out if it's too heavy. Because if it's too heavy, those lines will snap, I think. Oh boy, here we go. Shit! Under 10, under 10! Oh, fucking, we did it. Come get us. Not the best aero brake you'll see, but we did do it. We were able to gather 138 science. I really don't care how much money we lost because going to the moon made us a bunch. You leveled up. You leveled up. You didn't level up. Really, Jebediah. But we have a level 1 scientist now, which is that much more science. I want to say we got less science because he wasn't the one controlling the parts. They were up there for 12 days, so what do we have here? Explore Kerbal. Oh, here we go. Park 2 vessels next to each other around Kerbal. That's not impossible, especially with... Hi there. Especially with 2 honeymooners, because we'll have so much fuel in orbit. Rescue... Okay, so now we have rescue... Now we have rescue missions. Okay. So this guy's trapped. If it's a bad orbit... if it's a bad orbit, I won't be able to get him, because you saw how much trouble I had just circularizing. Plant a flag on the moon. That's a shitload of money. Test this stack separator in flight over Kerbal. I have to be flying very fast at 21. I don't think I can get that fast in 26,000 meters. Ferry a VIP safely to her destination. Suborbital flight on Kerbal, so that's an easy one. Atmospheric survey. These are belows? No. These are aboves. I'll grab those. Rendezvous 2 vessels. Rescue from orbit. Hey, Dan. I mean, rendezvous 2 orbits. We don't get a lot of money is the problem. But I think if I send up like an Apollo-style lander and then undock them in orbit and then redock them, that'll count. But we actually have a lot of active contracts right now, so I'm not going to grab that. That's some tourism money, but I'm just going to go to the bathroom here, actually. All right. I don't want to do this. Test a stack separator? No. Kill that one. That's going to cost us a little bit of reputation, I think. Science data from around Kerbal. Transmit or recover scientific data from around Kerbal. That would just be an EVA report, so this is free money. Plant a flag on the Mun. We're going to do that. I don't think, I don't think we can land on the moon tonight. I don't think we're quite ready for that. I think we might hop over and do the docking and moon tutorials, actually, to get a better feel for the efficient ways to do it. Let's check. We have a lot of money, because remember we upgraded the tracking center last time, so we basically recovered all that. So we could grab this for 90. But with 160, we could... Oh, no, I can't afford this. Oh, right. Our research lab is so low, we can't buy things that cost more than 100 science right now. So we're locked out of this tier until we upgrade our R&D. What do we have here? Just larger modules. A lunar excursion module. That's neat. That's probably perfect for a lander. This is a worthless node unless we can actually get to the moon. The docking clamp is nice. But yeah, the solar panels would be great for satellites. Oh, what's this? A photovoltaic panel. Oh, that's for when we wanted to set up little science stations on the moon. That's neat. I guess we probably need landing struts to get on the moon. I don't trust the little baby ones we have. We could build some plane parts, but I don't think we need plane parts to finish the surveys that we picked up. We could grab this. What did I... Oh, this was for fairings, right? And hinges and shit. Yeah, I think I'm going to grab this. I think I'm going to grab the fairings. But at the same time, bigger engines would make it easier to get to the moon. The smaller sibling of the mainsail. Mass 3 tons. I think I want this. I think I want these no fucking around boosters. Maybe not, though. I mean, with our current fuel tanks, this might be a bad pickup. Shit, I'm stumped. Let's not even think about it. Let's just go do the tutorial. Quick save 4. Go main menu. All right. Training. So we did science basics, so let's go to the MUN part 1. This tutorial will introduce you to flights outside of Kerbin's sphere of influence, flying to the MUN. Perfect. Welcome to the first in a series of lessons designed to prepare you for flight in and around Kerbin's local system. I've been inspired by that famous work of Jules Kerman, From Kerbin to the MUN. We'll take a leaf out of his book and go one better by returning as well. In our first lesson, we'll be starting from LKO, low Kerbin orbit, and traveling to the MUN, entering in low Munner orbit. I'm going to assume you've completed the flight tutorials preceding this as well as orbiting 101, but if not, you should really do them first, but let's go. An important part of flights between celestial objects is a transfer orbit, which basically means an orbit used to change between two orbits. In our case, the periapsis of our orbit will be very near to Kerbin, and the apoapse will be extended to just beyond the MUN's orbit. Interplanetary trajectories are much the same, but on a much larger scale. Now press the M. Okay. To perform a successful transfer, we'll need to arrange for your ship and the target to arrive at the same place at the same time. If you really know what you're doing, you can calculate your own transfer orbit on the fly, or you could try eyeballing it. However, it's much easier to use maneuver nodes, so let's do that now. Click anywhere on your orbit, then click Add Maneuver. Okay. Maneuver nodes let you plan orbital maneuvers ahead of time, and most importantly, you can do so without wasting precious propellant. As you can see, maneuver nodes have 6 handles. The green ones are prograde and retrograde, the purple ones are normal and anti-normal. The blue ones are radial in, radial out. I'm not going to go into detail about these right now because these are the same vectors on the nav ball you saw in orbiting 101. For now, just remember that prograde and retrograde help you grow or shrink your orbit, and normal or anti-normal help you tilt it. You can click and drag the different handles to see how a burn made in that direction for that duration would affect the resultant orbit. In our particular case, we want to bring the apoapse up just enough to intercept the MUN's orbit at a point around 45 degrees ahead of the MUN's current position. If your trajectory is correct, the orbit line will shift colors when it gets close to the MUN. This indicates the point where your ship will transition from the influence of Kerbin's gravity to that of the MUN. The region in which the pull from that body of gravity is strongest is the sphere of influence, or SOI. In real life, the gravitational influence of all planets and moons matters too. Let's get to it then. With the handles showing, you might need to click on the node to make them appear. Pull the prograde handle until your post-maneuver orbit reaches as high as that of the MUN. But going that high is not enough to achieve an actual encounter. As I said before, timing also matters. So you may also need to move the node itself until you get an intercept SOI change with the MUN. You can do this by clicking on the inner circle of the node and dragging it forward or back along the line of your current orbital path. Don't forget that you can zoom the camera back to see a wider region of space. And if you want to start the burn planning over, you can delete the maneuver node and create a new one from scratch. To delete a node, well, we already know how to do that. All right. Look at that. Still a 1-minute burn. I never like these super long space burns. They make me nervous. But he's super high level in this tutorial, so he can lock on to targets. There we go. You've planned a trans-lunar injection maneuver. Your post-maneuver orbit will enter the moon's sphere of influence. There are a few things to notice now, so bring up your nav ball. You'll find a few indicators and displays that weren't there before you added the maneuver node. We saw these during the Go Forward tutorial. The bar on the right is a graphical depiction of the velocity change, the delta V, required to perform the burn you've plotted. Below that, you'll also see the approximate time necessary to make the maneuver and deplete the graphical display of the burn. A new timer also counts down to the moment your ship will reach the maneuver node. We can speed up time to get to the burn position faster by clicking any point from the orbit beyond the maneuver node and then clicking warp to the next maneuver. Okay. You're right, Ray. If I just get 20 science, then we can grab the big fuel tanks too. Which I'd have to do another Mooner flyby. We're getting close to maneuver time. This one final step to take before performing the burn. You need to point your vessel down to the planned vector. Easy. Here's an expert tip. Look at the burn time, have it, and start your burn when the T- timer reads that number. If your burn is 20 seconds, start burning at 10 seconds. This is because the maneuver node assumes an instantaneous burn, so if you average the burn around it, it produces a more accurate orbit than if you only start burning at the time of the node, so the average point is later. Sometimes your estimated burn will display an A. An instant of full thrust burn towards the maneuver icon will reset the number. See, while I was reading that, we missed the burn, so we'll go again. No. No, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. I need you to warp to the fucking thing. Oh, piss off. Well, now it's just all fucked up. So, I mean, this is exactly what we did last time, so this is fine. There we go. It's a 1 minute burn, so I want to get there in 30 seconds. That's more like 35. What a weird little ship I'm in orbit with. Hurry. Go. It's two Terriers side by side. Interesting. Okay. Kill it. Good work. But you may have noticed your actual orb is not exactly the one you would plan. That's because real burns are never instantaneous. However, close enough is good enough. As long as the trajectory markers are showing that we got a mud encounter pretty close to the one we wanted. If you're not quite satisfied with your intercept, you can still fine-tune it a bit by making small burns in various directions, but be careful not to overdo it. A counter burn can undo a goof, but you still don't want to be wasting fuel. Now we'll wait for you to be sucked up by the Mun's gravity. But since that can take around 6 hours, you'll probably want to use the warp here trick like we used before, or plain old time warp. No, I delete the maneuver. Control is locked. God damn it. There. Oh. We just got to burn for a fraction of a second in a minute or so. Find my target, please. God damn it. Didn't cut the engine in time. There. All right, we're here. I want to control it from my ship. What did I do? The fuck is the Mun doing all the way over here? What did I do? Might have been going so fast I didn't get pulled out properly. Okay, here we go. Okay, now we're gonna get sucked in. It's being really fucking weird here. There. You're now in the Mun sphere of influence. And Mun is the only gravity affecting the motion of your ship, but you're on an escape trajectory relative to the Mun, which means that you're moving too quickly to orbit the Mun. If we didn't do anything, you'd whiz on past it and escape. You'll need to slow down, you'll slow below escape velocity, which is burn retrograde, at periaps, in order to be captured and inserted in a lunar orbit. It's best to change your apoaps, periaps, and capturing is effectively changing your apoaps from something far beyond Mun's SOI to the height that never leaves Mun's SOI. So we'll perform that maneuver at periaps. If your periaps is hiding under the Mun's surface, that means you'll crash unless you do something. Yeah, don't do that. $50 kilometers. Or never mind, I'm not going to crash. Okay. We'll be using a maneuver node to perform the capture burn and insert in a lunar orbit. Add a node at that periapsis. Once you've started to execute your capture burn and your velocity is a bit lower than escape, you'll have a reasonable lunar apsis and therefore are in orbit and unlikely to escape by an errant thruster fire. Will proceed. $50,000, he said, should be good. It's a 20-second burn, not too shabby. That's too high. I think you don't get sucked into the moon until like 5,000 because there's no atmosphere slowing you down. That should be good. We burned for 22 seconds. This maneuver node's still a while out. Want to burn it like 10 seconds, going with their rule. And then it'll be a lot harder to fuck up than the insertion burn because we'll have a huge orbit. All right, and go. Now that you're not on an escape trajectory, try to get yourself into a reasonably circular orbit below or at least 200,000 meters. Oops. I don't even need maneuver nodes for this. This is simple enough. Would you just fuck off? Alright, my apoaps is way too high, so let's get a little retrograde here because I'm not 100% sure where I get sucked in. Shit. What did I... Oh. Facing the wrong way. Rookie mistake. We have enough fuel, though, because they gave us a whole extra stage full of fuel. 2,800 Delta V. There we go. That looks kind of crazy when the camera's centered on this, but we're everything else moving. I'm used to being snapped onto the ship. Okay, and then I burn retrograde to bring it under 200,000. We're at 2 million, so yeah, fix that. And then relatively circular is what they said. So 160. All right. Good work. You're now in a stable circular orbit around the Mun with a ship fully capable of landing. Capable of landing anyway after you decouple the transfer stage so that it's not in the way. See to the Mun Part 2 for a tutorial on landing. Today you've learned how to use maneuver nodes to plan future orbits, set out to travel to another world, and parked in orbit around it. In our next lesson, we'll cover the landing procedure, which I'm really looking forward to showing you. Landing on another body is both exciting and terrifying, but for now I'm running late for lunch, so I'll see you later. So it was just a very well-equipped ship. We weren't doing a terrible job on our burns, I think. Let's see how it tells us to land these days. To the Mun, from the Mun. Welcome to the Mun Part 2. In this tutorial, you're going to land this vessel on the Mun. In To the Mun Part 1, you brought this vessel along with its transfer stage to low lunar orbit. Between the tutorials, the transfer stage was decoupled, and now you're down to just the land and return stage. When you're ready to begin, we'll review the flight plan. Your flight plan to get to the surface safely will be as follows. Execute a maneuver at low throttle, warp to the new periapsis, burn retrograde at medium throttle, reducing speed and altitude until you're only 1.5 kilometers above the surface, and then descend at a measured pace. 1 meter per second of speed per 10 meter of altitude remaining. Land softly on the Mun surface. You'll notice that I've set up a maneuver node for you. This will be your descent orbit insertion burn. It's a burn that will insert you into descent orbit that almost but not quite touches the Mun surface. Go to the map. When its time hits 0, then execute the burn. It's a 1 second burn, really. So 6,000 is not enough to pull us in, so I think we get pulled in at 5 kilometers. Do this at low throttle so you have better control, since the burn will only take a single second at full throttle. Well, yeah. What's the engine on this thing? It's a Terrier, right? Yeah, it's got to be a Terrier, because a Terrier would be the only thing efficient enough to get us home. A single second. Here we go. Whoops. My periaps is way too low. Okay. Make sure your periapsis is now set to 6 kilometers, which it is. You might need to go back to your map. If it's not, adjust as I've taught you. Easy. It is 6 kilometers. Don't be a dick. There. Now we're going to warp to this new low periapsis. Click next. Hang tight and get ready to deploy your landing gear and start your braking turn. You'll be burning at 1/3 throttle. This is because you want to come in gently and not kill your velocity too soon. If you kill all your speed now, you'll just start falling and pick up speed again, which you'll have to burn more fuel to recancel out. By the way, this path is a reverse gravity turn, similar to the one we flew on ascent in the Gopher Orbit tutorial, except, reversed. Anyway, I'm going to enable the target indicator to assist, like we did in the Gopher Orbit tutorial. Follow it during the braking burn. If your descent speed gets too high, we'll move to the next step early. Okay. Alright, go to my target. Or sorry. Alright, throttle up to 1/3. Deploy my landing gear. Whoops. Hang on. Extend. Don't let your vertical speed pass 100 meters per second. Point yourself to the target, which is this. Also, don't let it ever go positive or you'll be wasting fuel. Your vertical speed pass... What? Vertical speed? Once you reach 1.5 kilometers up, we'll move on. Don't forget that the altimeter up top shows... What the hell is he talking about? Vertical speed. Where's this displayed? Vertical speed's right here. Don't let it pass minus 1,000, but don't let it ever go positive. How can I see the readout for this? It's minus 22. It's my vertical speed. Not very precise. We're about to hit 1,500, which is what he said. Now it looks like I'm flying over a crater, so our vertical speed and height changed. Almost there. Now you're going to carefully lower your velocity down to 0. Keep the descent rate equal to your height divided by 10. Are you fucking serious? What a complicated maneuver. Now, why would you do that? Stop that. Stop that. Throttle down. Throttle up. I prefer landers. I don't like to land like this. Shh, don't you fucking dare. Alright, you've landed on the surface of the moon. That actually didn't use up much fuel at all. Wow. Not even half. One small step for Val, one giant leap for Kerbal kind. So that one was relatively easy, except when the target lock went fucking nutso. So the final one is they'll show us a way to get home that doesn't involve a 10-day long aero break. And then we'll hop back on our own ship and try it. From the moon. We won't worry about docking for now. I don't even have any docking ports unlocked. Welcome to From the Mun. In our last lesson, we landed this craft on the Mun. Hopefully your pilot had a chance to stretch their legs and look around. If not, we'll start there. After that, we'll be heading home to Kerbal. In this lesson, I'll teach you how to take off from the Mun and reach a stable orbit, and then how to return from the Mun or any moon to its parent planet. Indeed, the same skill can be used to depart Kerbal towards other planets in the inner solar system. Lastly, I'll cover re-entering Kerbal at high velocity. Heat shield required. To send Valentine on an extravehicular activity, click the EVA button on her portrait. Yeah, I already know how to do this. Okay, moving on. This return flight will have 3 distinct phases: ascent from the Mun's surface, trans-Kerbal injection, and translunar re-entry. Once you finish the first phase, establishing your low lunar orbit, we'll cover the details for the next. For now, here's what you're going to do. As always in these lessons, I'll add a target marker to assist steering. Throttle up, then immediately pitch over, down to the 90-degree turning head. So yeah, there's so little gravity, we just need a little bit of momentum, and then we kind of like spiral away from the moon, I think. Throttle up, pitch over, cut throttle when my apoapsis gets above 50 kilometers, which I think we can get orbit info here. The Mun is a much shallower gravity well, so you only need a single stage, and not even all of that. Remember, this is the same stage you used to land on the Mun, and we're also going to use to return home. Mun's gravity is so much weaker than Kerbal's, plus we're not being held back by an atmosphere, so this one stage will have the fuel capacity for this entire landing and return leg of the mission. I've placed the marker on your nav ball. When you're ready, throttle up to hit max, then immediately start turning. Whoops. Oh, that's the right way. Oh, that's no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Up you go, or rather sideways you go. I'll track your apoapsis here so you don't have to swap to map view. Once it's 50,000 meters, we cut engines. I should learn about vertical velocity, maybe, for establishing my Kerbal orbit. I have created the circularization node for you, but in real life, you'll be doing that planning yourself. Hey, I can't manage every little thing around here. The joke is that he works in mission control. It should be his job. Go ahead and click the next button when you're ready, and we'll warp to the maneuver. Off we go. I want to see how he does it. I'm curious if he just comes in super fast and the heat shield protects you. Gear up? I mean, we could. It's this button. Can't do it while warping time. There we go. Gear up. We're almost there. Rotate your craft to align with the target. Burn to execute this once your time to maneuver is about half the estimated burn time. Man, these are such cheap burns. I'm jealous. If all else fails, burn prograde. Yeah. Over 5 kilometers and we're fine. It's a little baby orbit. Should be enough, right? Yep. Huge. Whoa, Jesus Christ, it's a fucking huge one. That was more than enough. If all else fails, no more than 5 kilometers. Okay, it's got to be circular. To return from a moon to the body it orbits, You must reach escape velocity. It matters quite a lot when in your orbit you do so. You want to make sure the effort you expend to reach escape velocity creates the correct result in orbit. Switch to map view if you're not there. Zoom far enough out and rotate the camera to show all three objects: your ship, the moon, and Kerbal from above. Note your direction of travel in your orbit. If you're looking from the top, you're orbiting counterclockwise. Next, check the direction of travel from the Mun in its orbit around the Kerbal. It's orbiting the same direction as you are. All right, we're going to eject opposite to the Mun's direction of travel, but we'll be accelerating forward with respect to our own orbit around the Mun in order to do that. So I think I fly this way and then I get sucked back in. Remove any existing nodes. Done. Create a new node on your current Mun orbit. It doesn't matter where. We'll be moving it to visualize the results. Drag the prograde handle until you have an escape trajectory. There we go. Oh. And then I get sucked back into a fucking massive Kerbal orbit. I'll actually get sucked into the Minmus if I'm not careful. But what if I swing it? Is it always the same? It's always 158 meters per second, but it's actually much better to fall it this way. Fuck off. That's not what I was doing, and you know it. And you know it. $6.45 though. What? I had a super cheap one earlier. What the hell happened, guys? $171 gets us pulled out. I like that. That gets me pulled out so far I get sucked off into the sun. Don't do that. That's what we want. Once you've created an ejection maneuver node, despite being prograde or moon orbit, gives you a retrograde kick in terms of our eventual Kerbal orbit. I don't quite understand that. Hey, oh, hey there. I can hover the handles and mouse wheel. Oh, fucking thank God. Wow. All right. The periapsis disappears under Kerbal surface. Drag on the retrograde to reduce the burn until we can see the P. Once you've set your Kerbal periapsis to the between 5 kilometer and 32 kilometers. Oh, it wants me to come in super. Okay, that's super handy. Jesus Christ. Around 5 kilometers to 30 kilometers. Perfect. Oh, that's a very expensive burn, though. It's a 57-second burn. Warp to and execute the maneuver node you've created. Once that's done, remove the node so we have a clear view of the ship's path, and then rocket scientists like tidiness. If the resulting orbit deviated from the plotted burn so much that the Kerbal periapsis is below 5 or above 32, you'll need to fine-tune your path with another burn to avoid a possibly disastrous re-entry. I'm burning retro. Prograde's cheaper? Oh, that's what he was talking about with the orbital. Okay. That is considerably cheaper. Jesus Christ. That is considerably cheaper. Where's my periaps? There it is. Oh, that's way too low. There, 481. It's a 20-second burn. A little bit better. Okay, I'm way further from the node than I thought. Okay, once we get to 10 seconds, we'll begin our burn. Overshot a little bit. We can correct it, I believe. Maybe not. Yeah, I guess I should just always wait until the bar gets trained. All right, confirmed. Periapse is 25. Perfect. You're on your way home. Let's warp ahead until you're near Kerbin. Click on your orbit near, but at least a Kerbin's radius away from your periapse and choose warp here. I don't know what the fuck that means. We'll advance once your altitude drops below 120 kilometers. 10 days. That was maybe not the right way to bust out. I think I maybe should have tried to escape on the other side. Hope I don't get sucked back into the moon, actually. No, we'll skip by. This seems even more dangerous than my other aero brake. But I guess I have enough to also do a deorbit burn, right? All right. Note that this time you do have a heat shield on your capsule. While it's just barely possible to survive a transmuter re-entry without one, it's very dangerous indeed. Try coming back directly from anywhere farther than the mud and you'll be a crispy critter without a shield. An alternative method to avoid excessive re-entry heat would be to maneuver into a parking orbit and or make a braking turn and then make a gentler, slower re-entry. That, however, would require a great deal of additional fuel. It's way less fun. Because of the added mass of the heat shield, but no extra drag to compensate because it mounts flush with the pod, this ship won't be able to slow down as well as the pod would by itself. For that reason, your craft has a drogue parachute mounted to the side in addition to the main chute. Really? I normally don't use drogues. Drogue parachutes are weaker braking devices, but work at higher speeds and altitudes than regular parachutes. In order to slow the ship to the point where it's safe to use the more powerful normal parachutes. So once the drogue is doing its part, holy shit, let's deorbit here before it fucking cooks off. There's a problem with the ship. I think that was just all the landing legs shattering. No, I don't need landing legs. We're fine. Once we get the heat shield, we'll be fine. Here we go. As soon as it's safe, we'll fire the drogue, and then we'll fire the other one as well. So use it as like a braking device. Okay. We can't fire it until we're not on fire anymore, so... Here we go. Okay, your drogue parachute is staged. Once the main parachute also shows safe, stage that again. If for some reason your drogue fails, you still have a chance. You might slow down to a safe enough speed to deploy your main parachute. I think we'll be fine. With everything staged and activated, there's nothing to do but wait. Man, this seems way safer than the way I came back from the moon. I'm guessing with the heat shield and the drogue, you can have a fucking super aggressive approach. At least from the moons. And we don't have docking ports, so we don't need to worry about that, so we can go back to our career after this. And so she opens, slows us down a bunch. I might start to use drogues, honestly. Because then we can save some fuel with some super sharp re-entries. Ooh, it looks like the capture card's getting a little finicky. That's not the game, that's the capture card. I'll have to fiddle with it after we land here. Let's physics warp up. No, just the capture cards plugged in loose, that's all. Why is my parachute clipping like that? It's an indie game. There we go. Congratulations, you've successfully returned from the Mun. A ticker tape parade would be held in your honor if this weren't a training simulation. Instead, you'll just have to go and do a real Mun mission in your own career sandbox save, which we actually just did. But this was a little more elegant than the way we did it. So a little break here while I try to sort out that capture card because it is loose. Back to the career. It should be good to go now. So what? A slightly more efficient Mooner approach would be nice, because then we can do some more orbital science. We need 20 science. So let's open up the Honeymooner, because it did get us there. Honeymooner is missing a part. I doubt that, because I just used it. Let's give it a little more fuel, though, I think. That should be good. I'm going to give it a little more thrust, though. So let's call up the stats now. Thrust to weight is 1.74, which might be a little too much, but we're trying to not waste so much Terrier fuel circularizing. Lose the crew cab since they can't get out. That's a good call, Justin. We're better off just going with the Mark II. Hopefully that's sturdy. Ugh, what a goofy clip. What the fuck? Heat shield's too small. Ah, this thing might not have enough of a heat shield on its own is the problem. Because we don't have a bigger heat shield. That was the problem with the bigger command pod, wasn't it? Yeah, we would have to hope that this thing is enough heat shield to protect the command pod. I am trying to bring the scientist. I think if the scientist can do the experiments himself in orbit, we'll get a lot of bonus science. What a weird clip right there. I don't know why that clip's weird. I'm just going to put some struts here just for aesthetics. I don't like this clipping, but there's really nothing I can do about it. Call this one the Love Seat Mark I because it's not a third man anymore. It's a two-man. Still got all the science in the science suite here. Whoops. That's in the fucking way. Alright. Should be fairly aerodynamic and shit, right? It's got some extra fuel for the Terrier. I kind of want to give this thing an extra... you know what? I will. This might be the over-engineering part of it, but I have a hell of a time circularizing. I don't know why. Alright, center of mass. Still pretty good. Still pretty good. I don't mind this one. Alright, let's go. Hey, guess who forgot to put a scientist in the command pod? Also, let's double check the staging this time after that disaster last time. I think the engineer's in it. crew. Yep. No, you don't. For a lucky Jebediah, I might hit level 2 going back to the moon. Alright, yep, that staging's all fucked up. Ready, stage. Then you decouple these, and then you decouple these. And then I don't actually have a decoupler here. That might be why. That might be why this looks so dopey. Nope, that heat shield just clips with the Mark II. Okay. So a little gross. Not much you can do about it, though. Alright. So these fire, then we decouple, and then... this fires. Then we decouple, and then let's put a drogue on it. Actually, do I have drogues? I have drogues. Put it right on the back here. It's a $20,000 ship, but going to the moon can be very profitable. I also think we have a contract to just do a crew report in space, so we can grab that on the way. A little bit of a bounce there, that makes me uncomfortable. How do we look in this thing? Oh, this is pretty fancy. This is very fancy compared to the Mark I. We'll try to tip over at 100, see if it works out for us. Come on. Come on. Then we'll switch to prograde. There's some drag. I feel like I turned enough. Here we go, moment of truth. Alright, no explosion. Perfect. Well, that explosion doesn't count. I think the extra fuel is going to get canceled out by the extra weight of the command pod. I believe so. I'm starting to get very worried now. Try to bring this up to something more respectable. Well, this fucked up. I didn't want to use the Terrier to circularize. I wanted to have the Terrier just for our Mooner injection. Well, shit. I'm gonna fuck this up. I think I did. Maybe we didn't turn early enough. Or maybe we turned too early. I think maybe we turned too early. Because wowie. Yeah, let's just restart here. I have very little hope for this. Let's not turn so early. Let's just brute force our way up and then go sideways. Let's do it old style. Because I want to say I didn't account for this command pod, adding like an extra ton. My thrust weight's pretty high, actually. Let's just get that app WAPs up and then try to turn. It still feels like we're going up really slow. I think we have too much extra weight. Almost feel like maybe I should have a second set of boosters here that fire once we drop the first ones. Like, we're right back where we started. Barely have any fuel to circularize. And we're actually still in the atmosphere, so it's going to be a little tricky to flip this thing over. What a mess. What a mess of a launch this one was. How are we doing here, fellas? I mean, we got a lot of fuel, but I think we're going to burn way too much of it off circularizing again. If you click the Delta V in the right menu, select thrust weight and then show all, and you can see your thrust weight in stages. Yeah, I thought I had my thrust... I had a good thrust to weight with the boosters, but I think maybe when it's just the swivel, my thrust to weight ratio's off. Let's double check that. Let's see how much fuel this... if I can circularize this before we use up half our fuel, I'll try to go to the moon. But I think it's going to be a flub. Yeah, we're going to actually overshoot it here. Yeah, my thrust to weight right now is 0.61, but your thrust to weight doesn't matter in space, right? I'm draining my Delta V. Yeah, let's go back. Something's fucky with this ship. Thrust to weight 1.65. That's good. All right, 0.46. That's why we can't get up. Our thrust goes to shit here. At altitude 10, no less. Like 0.13. That's got to be the problem. Yeah, 0.46. So the first stage is great. Let's add some emergency boosters to that second stage. These ones don't do anything until the first ones burn out. Huh. I'm still 0.13 in this stage. What the fuck? Why is this yellow? Oh. No, wait. Let's just waste some more money here with the big ones. No. Alright, here we go. So we start down here. This all goes. Then we blast this, and then this is 2.26, so we've got some real thrust to weight here again. So that should be enough to circularize us. Maybe. Let's put some fins on this too, waste a little more money. Alright, and we'll give this struts just in case. You don't want to normally go strut crazy because that just, you know, maybe masks a problem with your ship. Alright, hopefully this gets us into space. We're getting dangerously close to over-engineering our ship here. Alright, good thrust. 1.19 on the first stage now. Shit. Power back up. 1.47. You know what? We'll just do this. 1.59. 2.22. Okay. Let's try this. Love Seat Mark II. Thank you, though. That was definitely the problem here, is we have no thrust once we ditch the boosters. Oh, no, wait. This is why we have a bunch of free thrust, is we're firing the Terrier. Shit. Now our thrust's garbage again. What in the world? Okay. Great thrust on the bottom, then we jettison it. Put my extra boosters in stage 4. So yeah, so they're here, right? They're in stage 4. This is the one that has to leave. Oh yeah, I guess I can fire them as soon. You're right. I can fire them as soon as we jettison the others. Okay, great thrust here now. And then we jettison. So these go to stage 2. Alright, so we cannot be shooting this. We cannot be using the Terrier in the vacuum. It's gonna have no fucking. So yeah, we have to be in the. We have to be in space for this fucking Terrier stage. This is Saturn V. It's getting to that crazy point. All right, great thrust, great thrust. A little concerned about this one. We're only at 1.46, but we should be pretty high up. Hopefully this is heavy enough. This still might be too fat. Ugh, what a beast. On the upside, we might be so fat there's no wind resistance. Starting to tip here. I don't like that. We're going to tip this way. There's our next boost of speed. Alright, that App-Waps is going up there this time. Start to turn. Try to leverage some of that booster fuel. We didn't. Oh, fucking stability assist, not now. Actually, we're pretty low still. We're only 20,000. No, it's a fucking disaster again. We have to use the Terrier to circularize. Those boosters didn't really do anything but account for their own weight. That sucks. Gotta be careful. This is an easy pitfall to just fuck up your ship designs. Start slapping boosters on. Ugh, what a waste. 125. I mean, we'll be up kind of high, but... I think we're gonna gut those double boosters. I don't like that. Okay, we're in space. So we have maximum efficiency on this engine. This is taking forever again. Gonna hit my Apple apps here. I'll be very upset if this doesn't circularize. Jesus Christ. I think I need to get up here with a swivel or a Reliant. Actually, I could just use the Reliant for a little extra thrust. My God. No, we fucked this up. That's annoying. This is where I got stuck the last time I played. Half my ships couldn't circularize. Alright, these are little shitters. I don't want them on my bracket. Let's just try to brute force it like an idiot. Okay, that's riveted on. So I mean, I could lower their thrust so we just burn for a really long time. And then once we jettison you, you have no fucking thrust away. Where's the other one? Yeah, Justin. Certain engines are more efficient in a vacuum. I could just not fire the engine at all, you're right. Not go with like that sustainer engine they talked about in the tutorial. Still terrible thrust to weight ratio at that point. Well, actually, how high do I have to fucking get with this thing? Let's swap that out for Reliant. We'll have no thrust factoring, but we'll be able to squeeze a little extra power. Still dog shit. Once I'm near circularized, yeah, it's like I'm just trying to mostly circularize before I get to the Terrier, because the Terrier is just not strong enough with the way I ascend. Because I've never gotten the hang of the wacky turn, so it's the most fuel efficient. So, yeah, my gravity turn should get me near ideally. Yeah, it's just this, as soon as the boosters fall off, the thing's just weak as shit. Well, hang on, I could. This'll just burn more fuel, but we could do something like this, right? Because they feed off the same engine. That's a lot of thrust again, so kill this. Yeah, I guess I could just put them below the fins. They don't need to be above. I was putting them above the fins so they didn't burn it, but we can just put them down here. Alright, so we blow this, and then once they decouple, the main engines turn on, which doesn't give us that much thrust. But they're on like a very forgiving limiter right now. 35, there we go. 35 keeps us at 1.5. Because as far as I know, 1.5 thrust weight ratio is the magic number to keep moving against gravity. Alright, let's see how this goes. Call this one the Mark III. These guys are confused. Like, why does he keep changing the mark name? We're still in the assembly building. Because the Kerbals are unaware of my time controlling powers. Alright. A little, you know, not that much more expensive. It's got more parts on it, but it's not that much more expensive. I want to say back on the old atmospheric model, you couldn't check your thrust weight ratio in the hangar, so I never figured that stuff out. We can do max throttle because the engine's not even firing yet. Alright, go. Biff boom, straight to the moon, ideally. Start to tip at 100. There we go. Now we just follow the prograde straight on till sunrise. Get a bit of a tip before we go back to prograde. we're still gonna have to fucking use the Terrier. I almost wonder if I should have just upped the thruster weight on this part. I don't mind the tips on this part. I always have trouble getting into orbit with my ships, which makes it hard to do the rest of the game, unfortunately, so it can be frustrating. We're just going to gun it at 70. Yeah, I couldn't just add more fuel, because we're so over the thrust to weight. That's a good point. Uh, 16 seconds. I don't think that's enough to circularize with this Terrier. That's fine. We learned a little bit. We learned a little bit about ship designing here. Okay. Let's do this. Center of mass is way down there. This is a little concerning. This thrust's a little low, but we can just up the limiters to 50. Which unfortunately might counter out the extra fuel we just added. So hang on, our delta goes to 1500. We don't really change our delta that much. Looks like there's a sweet spot on this fuel limiter to add more delta V. So this gives us 1530. $15.26, so we want to keep it at 50. That seems to be the most delta. And then how much delta V can I get of these boosters then with that same logic? 1050. That's weird. Well, at that point, we're concerned about the thrust weight, aren't we? $75, $80. The hell? You know what? Let's just go full blast on these. Because you want the most thrust weight right at the launch pad, right? Ideal launch... Oh, really? Ideal launch, 0 stage is 1.6. Okay. Okay, go. That's close to 1.6. Let's do 81. 1.61 and then 1.61 on this stage, and then okay. 1050, 1530. Isn't it still... What did the guy say? Someone the other day said, what was it, 2800 to get into orbit? So we're still a little short. But I guess we're not accounting for the change at... So sea level... Let's try this. That's a little worrying right there. Okay, keep it on stability assist there. Whoop, whoa. Hold together, girl. It's fine, just a little wobble. It's still good, it's still good. Might have turned a little too soon here. That Apoaps is taking a while to go up, and that fucking fuel's still flying away from me. I try to turn it off for this. I might be wrong, but it feels like I just snap back against the stability assist if I leave it on. Oh boy. I think I turned too early on this one. Because we're flat, but we're not high enough. And then I'm still way down in the atmosphere still. It almost feels like I need to add an extra stage for the circular rise. But that seems like then the ship has too much shit on it. I won't be in the atmosphere for... You know what? I have to waste a little fuel here. We're going to fucking knock him out. I pulled it over too much. 100 meters per second, turn to 10 degrees, then just hold... Okay, okay. That was actually my very first orbit. I did the 10 degrees and then let it prograde. But I keep getting worried about this part. But this is, we made this pretty wide with the second stage. 48 seconds though might not be enough. Yeah, we're 30 seconds away. I think we might get it this time. Click purple button on the bottom left. Oh, because you can see your periaps fly up. Okay. 13 seconds to apps. I think we can circularize that. I mean, we definitely have enough fuel. We should have enough fuel to go to the moon, too. Just still not an ideal orbit. All right, here we go. I'll have about half a tank to get to the moon. The moon. There. I forget that. What was it? 300 kilometers was a good orbit to go to the moon? All right, we have a contract for just data in space around Kerbal. So let's do a little spacewalk here while my engine cools off. Actually, you know what? I think he gets bonus science. He gets that bonus scientist science. But maybe I already did it with him. You know what? Let's not. Let's just reset it all when we're at the moon. Okay, we got a quick save here. And I just want to warp to here. Try to make this a little eccentric. See if we can capture the moon. Or actually, you know what? Maybe. No, that's not what I wanted. Whoa! That's a lot. That's 900. No, that seems like a very expensive maneuver. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Try to make this one huge. I gotta remember to use this readout. I like this way more than mousing over. I got a pretty circular 200K. And then prograde's cheaper, you said. Prograde's the cheapest way. Is there any way no, I gotta do like a 900 meters per second burn no matter what to get to the moon. Yeah. Nope, this is cheaper. This is like 200 milliseconds, sorry, 200 meters per second cheaper. That's not the worst app. That's a 700,000 periapps. That's kind of shit. Oh, Christ, it's a 1 minute burn, though. We have a lot of fuel. I don't think we'll be landing this thing. Well, we have no landing legs. We won't be landing this thing. But we might be able to get really close to the moon and do some, like, over a biome study, especially with the science. Put the app-waps on the moon orbit line and then drag the position to find the intercept. Yeah, I might be able to make it even cheaper then. This is a cheaper one. No, this is getting more expensive. Oh, wait, what? Okay, this is a 750. Oh. At the same time, though, it's like I'm saving a little bit getting to the moon, but I'll probably have to burn a bunch to get pulled in. I think this one. Am I doing a fly? I want to orbit it this time. I did a flyby earlier today. I'm hoping I can get in orbit with a lot of fuel so we can do some biome flybys. I mean, this seems like the cheapest I can get here, 757. But then I'll be 1.5 million kilometers out. Oh, that gets me a little closer. There's a fucking long burn, actually. I don't know if we have enough fuel for this. It's a 90-second burn. And I don't... He's not level 2, so we can't lock onto a maneuver node. I mean, this thing's got a lot of fuel. I don't think it has fucking 90 seconds, and then... Let's watch the delta V required. Try to move the camera there so the rocket sound isn't all in one ear. Oh, that's handy. That's new. Well, not new since I started this stream, but new since the last time I played. See, I mean, we'll have over 1,000 delta V to correct our orbit and come back, so that's a good point. Ready to cut the engine here. All right, my moon periapsis is 1 million meters. And then I want to add another maneuver node. The fuck? No. Left click on the mun itself. Okay. What? There it is. So let's say 500 meters per second burn. So we'll still have 1,000 here. And we could do a pretty low orbit. Well, I think once we're actually in the moon's orbit, it'll be super cheap to correct it. So let's do a super tight one here, because we don't fall into the moon until under 5,000. $17,000's good. All right, save that. It's a 480 meter per second burn. Let's warp till we get to it. Here we go. All right, then we get scooped up by the moon. Warp to here. Maneuver's still not for a while. We can warp for like 13 minutes. Okay. I'm going to quick save it here. I'm pretty sure we can salvage it and go back if we make a mistake, so I just want to make sure we do each part properly. And good thing I saved it, because while I was talking, we overshot it. Which one would have been most recent? This one? And this one. So this one. This time I won't talk while I warp and miss the maneuver. Yes, we'll still have about 1,000 meters per second of delta V. There we go. I overburned somehow. So that'd be retrograde then to fix it. Just watch this for the periaps. That's the tip of the day, 5K, and we're good to go. Yeah, I'm a little concerned on the aero brake here, just because we don't have the proper sized heat shield, but Definitely don't have enough fuel to land, but we can get pretty fucking close here. Observe the materials bay. In space near the mun. I feel we can get even lower. I swore you could fly over a biome on the moon. Or do I have to be... I guess I have to be like in the, quote, atmosphere. Under 5K, right? Maybe not. Let's go retrograde. Maybe not, though. Maybe I want to keep it large for an easy escape. There we go. I want to see if I can fly under here. So I'm not quite ready to land, but I think I might be able to use this ship to also get to Minmus. Because I think Minmus requires less Delta V to get to it. Oh, it takes more. I guess it's lighter to land on. Minmus was the last thing I could get to. I could only get to the moon in Minmus. Alright, let's see if we actually end up going over something. I mean, we should. Look at that height. The Science Junior's locked. Oh, time warp. No, we're just right above it. That's weird. I guess we don't get to land. In space near the mun. I swore I gathered all this data. Why am I getting full science from it? Yeah, the mun does have biomes, but I swore you could fly above them. But I'm only 2,000 meters above the moon. I thought I'd be close enough for one. Grab the temperature while we're here. I guess maybe the moon is so interesting. Oh, wait, no. It's because we were in space near the moon. That's why we were getting different science last time. Look at that big crater. Just above the Mun's Midland. Shit, now we're low enough. Get back in, you idiot. Oh, now we're too high again. Well, we grabbed the Midlands report. No, the altimeter's on ground level. We're only 800 meters above it, which is starting to get very concerning. Isn't that dangerous? The mountains, it is. It is, Justin. I'm climbing now. Okay, yeah. So it looks like we might have been able to grab some shit from above a biome, but we were going really fast. This is still a lot of science. This is enough science to upgrade our engine and our fuel tanks. So I mean, not the worst little adventure we've been on, so I think it's time to go home. So that's 200 to get into orbit and then 700 to come home. I think that's enough. So again, a follow-up to Justin. It's incredibly dangerous with the mountains. It's incredibly dangerous. Load save. Quick save. I think this one. Fucking might be able to land. Too fucking close to everything. You know what? Let's try it. Oh, I see what the problem is. I'm not sure how to salvage this. I don't think it's orbit degradation. There's some very high peaks on the moon, so we shouldn't have been that low. You know what? I think this quick save is too close. Quick save. Radial burn ASAP, yeah. I gotta find radial though. Oof. I guess it would just be opposite of this, right? The center of the red side. Nope, the center of the blue side. Here we go. Thank God for that time machine. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right, I think we're fine. That took a bit of our delta V to... Oh, shit. We have to correct this. It's prograde, right? Prograde at the Apple apps. Which will be super cheap. Because we're in the moon. Oh, fuck off. Oh, yeah, definitely going home. I just want to not crash into it this time while we're planning the maneuver. There we go. I still got all the science. This is our filled up with science adventure. Oh, no, wait. I don't think the scientist actually climbed out and grabbed everything. Good call, Justin. This is not the scientist. God damn it, because I kept fixing the ship. I don't want the fucking engineer to level up. I don't need to worry about that until we start mining for stuff. All right, take this data. Take this data. I don't think I actually need to rotate over to this. I think I can just... Hey. Well, you stop bouncing off of it and just pick it up. Hang on. Okay, take it. That strut's in the way of the thermometer. I don't like that moving forward. It's not even the difference in the names. It's just I always forget to swap them out when we make adjustments to the ship. All right, get in. We're going home. 786 should be enough to get us home. This makes our fucking Apple apps huge, though. Do my exit burn at 45 degrees. Okay. There we go. And then we've still got a bunch of delta V to kill our velocity. I mean, if I did this, 290, we'd just slam in it with the heat shield, but we probably want to do an aero brake, don't we? Or no, maybe we... Do we? Yeah, I think... Yeah, we do. I don't trust this heat shield. God damn it. Yeah, 55, because you burn up more easily below 55, right? 96, Jesus. No, I scrolled up once. Don't do this to me, precise adjustments. All right, we'll do 88 and then we'll correct it later. All right, burn time 23 seconds, which doesn't matter because check the delta V. That's a lot of hot tips tonight. Off we go. We have a quick save. Yeah, mouse wheel up was screwing me there on that maneuver calculation. 88,000. We can just do a little baby burn to kill that as we come in. Here we go. Except I need to be pointing at where we're going. I guess I have the drogue chutes, though, so I could come in pretty aggressively if I trusted the heat shield. A real slow one, I want that to be 55. Perfect. Quick save that, which I might regret, and off we go. All right, goodbye moon. Hello home world. Get scooped up. Now that we're actually in the orbit properly, we can do a quick save there. At about 150K, all right, good news, I sped up time. Let's just kill it all now. Then we can learn our lesson for next time. My surface speed. Oh, yeah. I should have used my engine when we were still in the space. Well, we're still above 60K, so that's close to a vacuum. Or does it immediately go to base efficiency when we're not out of... Oh, here we go. All right, goodbye, rest of the spaceship. So that shit should burn up. No, it might drift off, and you know what? By itself, it might get pulled down. Okay, yeah, so it's scale, so we didn't get too screwed there. And then, well, this does have a blade of armor. I hope. That might just be the Mark 1, but this is also hopefully really helping protect the command pod from most of the heat. And we are going to see just how good of an aero brake this is. Or otherwise, these guys are just going to be floating through space in this pod till gravity brings them down. But I mean, the last moon, we just did a flyby and it took us 12 days because it was this crazy aero brake. Oh boy, that is spicy. Tempted to see how it is on console. Well, I'm playing unmodded, Justin, so it should be similar to this. But it could also be really unstable on console. I can't comment on that. Oh yeah, this is way better than last time. Look at how much heat shield we got left. And then we'll probably call it a night once we bring these guys home. So we made it. So we did a moon flyby and then we did a moon orbit, which isn't too bad. And then tomorrow, maybe some satellites. Or maybe we actually try to land on the moon. I do have to go to the bathroom though, so I think I'm just going to try to time warp this and leave it going. Well, hang on. I need to put it in the super high warp. Once we break orbit. Well, once we break the atmosphere. If we break orbit, we got other problems. Yeah, we might come down this time. All right, well, it's the dark side, so we can't actually see what the fuck's going on here, can we? Should have given him this. It's a little more pleasing to look at. That just a battery? Where does this go? Another thing. Okay, okay. Well, you're stoked, huh? Or maybe he's got cotton mouth. We have been up here for 2 days. But we've improved the speed of our moon missions by a factor of 5. All right, yeah. Oh, we're going to be coming down this time. Speed it up. And we've got the drogue parachute, so we can come in pretty sharp as long as the heat shield holds, which it should. I think it would have to be freakishly hot to burn through the shield quickly. Oh yeah, we're coming down. I have a fairly strong PC, I guess. I'll fire both. I put them on the same stage like a dum-dum, but this will kill our speed like nothing. And then we can... I don't want to be fast when the parachute deploys, though. Oh, but yeah, I guess again, I don't know if I can actually pull it off tomorrow when we stream it, but our next goal probably is to land on the moon. How we doing, fellas? Yep, those are the parachutes. We're going to probably go under 50 meters and then wait for the main parachute. It was a successful mission minus the those parallel universes where we crashed into the moon, that was the mountain's fault. That wasn't my fault. There we go. There's both. And I think this is also the first time bringing back a Command Pod Mark II. So Immersive definitely saved our ass there on some rocket design tips and rocket flying tips. Mostly the taking note of your... Oh, that was just the heat shield. Apparently the heat shield can't handle 8 meters per second. But these guys made it out, and I think... I'm not overwriting the existing crew report, but I think we might be somewhere new, so grab a new one. Kerbin's Highlands? We've been here before. Alright, back in. Fair amount of science, though, which is weird, I guess, because it was just a flyby last time we did our experiments on Recover Vessel. Holy shit, 234 science, really? The hell was worth so much? I guess it was the materials study. It's 25 data, but each data was worth 3 science. Data value multiplier. I want to say that's new, because that's a lot of fucking science. Alright, parts. That was a fairly expensive ship, so we lose a lot of money when we go to the moon, but we basically trade it for... how far am I into this career? We're trying to land on the moon right now. But those orbital studies were wonderful. Except we're not really locked at this 90 tier because I can just upgrade the R&D center, but I want the batteries and shit for satellites. And then we also want the bigger engines and the bigger fuel tanks. Oh shit, where are the bigger fuel tanks? They're right here with the fairings. Okay, what else do I want? Aerodynamics. I think I have all the aerodynamics I need to get to the moon. Yeah, you can do some kind of greasy stuff to get your science on your homeworld, Justin. If you know how to fly a plane, you can like just do a couple plane missions and grab a bunch of biomes, but that takes a long time. I thought I unlocked the larger fuel tank size. Maybe it's this. Oh, no, I forgot about that. I forgot that the Kerbal Space Center is like several biomes in and of itself. So it's probably like an easy 50 science. This looks like a tapered fuel tank, which already sort of plays off how we build the Honeymooner. I'm going to go with this, though. The landing legs, I think we just need to send something down. Actually, hang on. No docking ports available, right? Although also, I feel... No. I don't think we can fit this on a ship that we can land on the moon right now. Because eventually I'd like to send a control station down there for experiments, but we're missing some experimental parts as well, like this one. The goo monitor. There's the clampetron. Probably want that for a lander. Advanced construction, fuel systems, propulsion systems. What are these? These are babies, aren't they? Yeah. A thrust of 20 in a vacuum. These are satellite grade engines, I'm guessing. So I don't think we need that right now. I'm very much leaning towards grabbing this fuel system. I mean, big parachute, kind of. See, my problem with upgrading to the big boy parachute is if we're okay with wasting money on the ship, we can just bring everybody back in a command pod with a heat shield. So we don't need to carry a heavy payload. I mean, you use the XL later if you want to, I don't know, land on Eve or something. Yeah, this is just a ladder and a hitchhiker. I don't want to grab that. What do we have over here? Yeah, I'm not even sure how this works because the hinges and stuff were added after I stopped playing last time. So weather analyzer. So it looks like more science shit goes over this way. It's a lab, more ladders. Container module. A light scanning arm. Specialized control. That looks like that's for jets. A light duty rotor. Huh. I wonder if you can use that to make like spinning space stations and stuff. Or is this for jets? It's called advanced landing, so okay. Advanced aerodynamics. Supersonic flight. Actuators. That's got the grabber and the hinge. Hydraulic cylinder. Rotation servos? This is weird. That's all new to me. What do we have here? Some aerodynamics. A lot of weird in-between parts. Advanced fuel systems. I think we're going to go with this. We're going to go with the fuel systems just to get more fuel, maybe more efficient fuel for its cost or weight or something. Purchase. And then I think I'd at least like to get a satellite in orbit tomorrow. We unlocked fairings, so we can make like, well, we can have like a honeymooner and then you would, how would you do that? You'd make the honeymooner and then like on its nose, you'd put the satellite in a fairing and then leave that in space and then come back down with some radial parachutes, I guess. That's a problem for tomorrow. See if there's any. Test this heat shield at the launch site. What's that? Free money. Okay. Collect data from the surface of the moon. Make sure we grab that. Bring Munstone back with you. I have a lot of Mun contracts outstanding. Bring a Munstone on the Mun back to Kerbal. So what is this? 1, 2, 3 contracts we'll be able to complete if we go to the Mun, plus the bonus money for it being a world first. Explore Kerbal. The problem, though, is I only have 1 open slot. 1, 2, 3, and then I get... So I can burn this one off really quick. Test the heat shield 1.875. Let's do that right now. The fuck? I don't remember buying this. That's for the command pod we just used. Did I buy the wrong research or was I just not paying attention? The test was a complete success. Recover vessel. Should be 100% recovery if it's the launch pad. It was. That's weird. They actually made money because the command pod only cost 600. No XP, obviously. Okay, what the fuck did I just buy? What the hell did I buy that had hinges in it? Oh, this had hinges. Okay. Rotation servos. Interesting. Structural tubes? Larger decouplers? We should be able to do some interesting things here. Why did I buy this? Oh, right, the fairings. Which, thank God. If they weren't there, I would have been a little upset because we wasted our research bucks. So I really just want it for the fairings, but I guess I didn't notice everything else that's in it. Hinges and stuff. Neat. Bigger fuel tanks, bigger engines. All right, good. I didn't waste my research by accident. Bring the Munstone back. Science data from the surface of the Mun. Yes. Plant flag on the Mun. Yes. And I kind of want to ditch one of these, but I'm going to lose a lot of money if I do. And the thing is I'm worried if we're working, well, we could build a satellite and we can probably do all of these with satellites or a single satellite, but probably multiple satellites. But I'm worried that while we're doing that, these contracts will rotate out. But I guess we're only missing one. We're only missing the Munstone. Below, 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 so we can deny that. Test this engine over Kerbal. That's way too slow. 47,000 meters, but only 200 meters per second. We'd have to do that on a plane, which I don't want to do. So yeah, we're going to do some satellite stuff. Maybe, just maybe, try to land on the moon. But I think those are problems for tomorrow because it's been about 4 hours. We got a fair bit done as far as learning the game goes, but I guess we did just fly by the moon twice effectively. That's all we got done tonight. But I think it went well. So thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.